The battle lights of the Galactic Council chamber flickered as every ambassador turned their eyes to the main display. A cold silence filled the air. No one dared to speak. They had all received the same warning message only minutes before. Now, they waited for confirmation. Across the room, the old Varn ambassador tapped his claws on the table. "Are we certain this is real?" he asked. His voice shook. The message had spoken of something impossible, something every species believed could never happen. The Council's main screen blinked again. A scan appeared. A massive fleet signature. Unknown configuration. Strange, sharp energy trails. And a symbol no one in the chamber had seen for over 1,000 years. A single word flashed under it: human. A low wave of fear spread across the room. Stories of the old humans were legend. A species once thought erased from the galaxy. A species known for two things: impossible bravery and terrible wrath. The Zelari diplomat whispered, but humans were gone. They burned themselves out. Every record says so. The screen zoomed in. Sleek metal hulls. Blue engine glow. Warships shaped like arrows. Thousands of them. Moving in perfect formation. The human Starfleet had arrived. And they were heading straight for Council space. The Council commander stood, trying to keep her voice steady. "Open long-range audio. Maybe they come in peace." But before the signal connected, a sudden message burst through every frequency at once. A clear, strong human voice filled the chamber. "This is Admiral Mason Hale of the United Terran Starfleet. Stand by for declaration." Every ambassador froze. Even the air seemed to stop moving. Admiral Hale spoke again. Calm. Steady. Controlled. But behind the voice was something powerful, something ancient. After 1,000 years, humanity has returned. The chamber erupted into noise. Shouts. Panic. Confusion. The Council commander shouted for order, but the room was already shaking under the weight of fear. Another message arrived. This time, it was a visual feed. A human man stood on the bridge of a massive flagship. His eyes were sharp. His expression unreadable. Behind him, blue lights pulsed like a heartbeat. He leaned forward. "And we come," he said, "because the unthinkable has begun. Prepare yourselves." The feed cut. The screen went black. Every species in the chamber realized the same cold truth. Humanity had not come back by accident. They had come because something worse was coming with them. The Council chamber stood in shocked silence long after the human transmission ended. No one moved. No one breathed too loudly. The sudden return of humanity was already terrifying, but the message they brought was even worse. At last, the Council commander forced herself to speak. "We must understand what they mean," she said. "Open a secure line. Request peaceful communication." But before her order reached the signal officers, the chamber doors opened. A young officer rushed in with panic written all over his face. "Commander," he said, struggling for breath, "the human Starfleet. They are not alone." The ambassadors turned sharply. "What do you mean not alone?" the Zelari diplomat demanded. The officer pulled up a new scan on the chamber's central holotable. This time, the image was far more chaotic. Behind the human Starfleet, faint but unmistakable, were enormous shadows. Not ships. Not fleets. Something else, something moving like a storm. "They call it the Void Swarm," the officer said quietly. Long-range probes caught fragments of human data packets. Half corrupted. But one message was clear: the swarm destroys everything. The holotable flickered. Strange shapes appeared, endless black forms, shifting and twisting like living smoke. They had no engines. No metal. No structure. They floated like predators that did not need bodies. A cold fear spread across the room. The Varn ambassador stepped back from the display. "Is this a human weapon? Did they bring this to threaten us?" "No," the officer said. "The humans are running from it." Those words hit the room like a shockwave. Running? Humans, known for never retreating? What kind of enemy forced them to flee? Before anyone could respond, every nearby star beacon lit up with a new broadcast. The same human voice as before. Calm, but harder now. "This is Admiral Hale. To the Galactic Council, the Void Swarm has consumed half our space. They cannot be reasoned with. They cannot be stopped. We have come not to conquer, but to warn you." The ambassadors froze as the message continued. "Your galaxy will be next." The transmission ended again, leaving the chamber cold and silent. For the first time in generations, every powerful species in the galaxy understood they were facing something far beyond politics, borders, or pride. Something coming for all of them. The council commander ordered all fleets in nearby systems to stand by, but no one knew what to expect. Every ambassador had their own fear, their own theory. Some believed the humans were exaggerating. Others believed they were hiding something. A few even wondered if this was all a trick. But when the human Starfleet slowed near council space, the truth became harder to deny. On the main screen, the human flagship, the TSV Resolute Dawn, came into clear view. Its metal hull carried deep scars, long burn marks, and patches of melted armor. It looked like a ship that had survived battles no one should survive. A communications officer turned toward the commander. "They are requesting a live meeting," she said. "Direct link. No delays." The room fell silent as the commander nodded. "Open the channel." The screen brightened, and Admiral Mason Hale appeared again. The human officer stood tall, but there were tired lines around his eyes. Behind him, the bridge crew moved quickly, focused and tense. The commander spoke first. "Admiral Hale, you have entered council space with a large fleet. We demand a full explanation." Mason Hale nodded slowly. "You will have one. But first, understand this, we come with no hostile intent. Humanity does not want war." This alone surprised several ambassadors. The humans of old were known for fierce pride and sudden anger. But Hale's voice carried no threat, only urgency. The Zelari diplomat stepped forward in his seat. "Why return after 1,000 years? Why now?" Admiral Hale tapped a control panel, and the screen split. On one side, his face. On the other, a chilling image, an entire human colony world, dark and silent. No cities. No lights. Only drifting debris. "This," he said, "is why." The image shifted to show black shapes falling through the clouds like raining shadows. The void swarm arrived without warning. They do not send messages. They do not negotiate. They consume. They devour all energy, all matter, all life. The ambassadors stared, horrified. "They are not a human enemy," Hale continued. "They are an enemy of existence itself." The commander leaned forward. "What do you want from us, Admiral?" Hale took a deep breath. "We want the galaxy to stand together. Alone, no species can survive. But united, maybe we have a chance." The chamber grew still. For the first time, the council saw not the fearsome humans of legend, but a desperate people seeking allies. It was unthinkable. And yet, so was the threat coming toward them all. The council chamber was filled with soft whispers as Admiral Hale's message ended. Every ambassador exchanged looks with one another. None of them had ever imagined a day when humans would ask for help, or offer it. The legends always described humans as fierce, stubborn, and alone, but the humans on the screen looked different. Tired. Wounded. Determined. The council commander spoke first. "Admiral Hale, cooperation between our species has never been easy. Your people vanished for 1,000 years without explanation. Trust will not come quickly." Hale nodded. "I understand. But the Void Swarm does not care about trust. If you choose not to stand with us, they will end your world soon after ours." The ambassadors shifted uncomfortably. The Varan ambassador tapped his claws again, then leaned forward. "If what you say is true, then show us. Show us how your people fight them. We need proof." Admiral Hale's face hardened, but he did not refuse. "Very well. We will share tactical records. But understand, what you see may disturb you." He signaled to someone off-screen. The feed changed to a battle recording. A human fleet was fighting a massive cloud of black shapes. Beams of light cut through the darkness, but the swarm absorbed the energy like it was nothing. Human ships fired missiles, railguns, everything they had. Many hits landed. Many ships were lost. But the humans did not break formation. They fought as if every second mattered. They fought like a species that refused to die. When the recording ended, the room felt colder than before. The Zelari diplomat spoke quietly. "Your people stayed behind to cover the retreat of civilians?" Hale nodded. "Millions were saved because our captains refused to flee." For a moment, pain flickered in his eyes. Most of those captains never returned. A heavy silence followed. Then, something unexpected happened. The Varan ambassador stood. His species had once fought a brutal war against humanity long ago. His voice was usually sharp and proud, but this time it sounded different. My people will hear this. But I will say now, we cannot fight this alone. If humans are willing to stand with us, then we should stand with them. Other ambassadors exchanged looks. Some reluctant. Some afraid. Some hopeful. Slowly, one by one, they nodded. The council commander placed her hand on the table. Very well. We will begin negotiations. An alliance, temporary or permanent, will be discussed. Admiral Hale gave a single, firm nod. Thank you. You have just chosen life. But deep in the shadows beyond council space, the void swarm drifted closer. And time was running out. The human Starfleet moved faster than any species had ever seen. The council's combined fleets were still debating supplies, strategies, and alliances, while the humans acted with quiet, deadly efficiency. Every system the swarm touched was already gone. Every planet consumed. And the humans were racing to meet it. Admiral Hale stood on the bridge of the Resolute Dawn, eyes scanning the stars. His crew moved with precise, silent coordination. Every sensor, every weapon, every system was in perfect sync. We are approaching Sector V-119, he said. The swarm has begun feeding on the nearby moons. We must slow it before it reaches inhabited planets. A young officer asked nervously, Admiral, our weapons may not be enough. They absorb everything. Hale nodded grimly. Then we do what humans have always done. We fight smarter. Not harder. The first battle began in the dark void near a small gas giant. Black tendrils of the void swarm twisted through space, striking moons and asteroids. Human warships appeared from hyperspace like arrows through the night. Their shields flared blue, and energy cannons lit the darkness. The humans did not try to destroy the swarm all at once. They formed layers of defense, protecting each other while studying the enemy. Ships moved in and out, attacking and retreating in careful patterns. Every hit revealed something new, weak points, strange energy nodes, gaps in the dark mass. Council observers watched through long-range feeds, awe and fear in their eyes. They are alive? Whispered one Zelari captain. No species fights like this. They are unstoppable. The humans' tactics worked. Slowly, the swarm recoiled, twisting and reforming, trying to cover its weaknesses. Explosions rippled through the black shapes, scattering fragments of the once mighty swarm. But the victory was small. For every section destroyed, two more appeared. The void swarm was endless, or so it seemed. Hale's face remained calm, but his voice carried the weight of determination. They are relentless. And so are we. Hold the line. Protect the moons. Humanity will not fall, not today. A sudden alarm rang. Sensors detected a massive spike in swarm activity, larger than anything before. A dark shadow bigger than the gas giant itself was advancing. Hale's hand clenched on the console. All ships, brace yourselves. This is the main body. The first strike. And it will not be the last. Even in the council chambers, watching from afar, ambassadors felt the tension. The humans were brave. The humans were brilliant. But even they faced the impossible. And the galaxy knew it. Nothing would ever be the same again. The Resolute Dawn shuddered under the sudden impact of the swarm's massive tendrils. The black mass struck like a hammer, bending light and energy around it. Alarms screamed, lights flashed, and the crew's hands flew across the consoles. Admiral Hale's voice cut through the chaos, calm but commanding. All stations, stay focused. Shields up, weapons ready. We fight as one. Outside, human warships weaved like living predators through the darkness. The swarm's energy waves struck, tearing ships apart, but the humans refused to break formation. Every loss was felt, every sacrifice counted, but still, they pressed forward. On the bridge, Hale studied the sensors. The swarm was growing faster than they expected. It consumed everything it touched, but it also moved with patterns the humans were beginning to understand. It adapts, Hale said. It learns. But it has limits. Find the limits. In the council chambers, every species watched in stunned silence. For centuries, they had feared the unknown. Now, they watched humanity, small, fragile, long absent humanity, fight an impossible enemy with courage, intelligence, and unity. The first wave of council fleets joined the humans, tentative but inspired. Zelari cruisers flared their weapons alongside Terran cannons. Varan battleships formed defensive lines to protect planets. The galaxy's oldest powers, united under human leadership, began to push back. Still, the cost was high. The Resolute Dawn shook as another strike hit its hull. Crew members were thrown from stations. Lights died in sections. But Hale did not falter. "We will survive this. Humanity does not surrender." A young lieutenant hesitated. "Admiral. The civilians, if we don't stop the swarm, they..." Hale turned, his eyes sharp and steady. "Then we make them stop it. Every world. Every life. That is why we fight." The human fleet, battered and burning, surged forward again. They coordinated attacks that seemed impossible, using every skill, every trick, every bit of ingenuity. The swarm hissed, twisted, and flailed, but it could not break their resolve. And in that moment, across the galaxy, countless species understood the unthinkable. Humans were back. Not as legends, not as myths, not as ghosts of the past. But as living, breathing, unstoppable defenders. The void swarm advanced still, dark and hungry, but humanity's light, fierce, defiant, unrelenting, was ready. And the galaxy held its breath, knowing the final battle was coming. The void swarm had grown massive, a dark storm swallowing entire star systems. Even the bravest fleets quivered as it advanced, but the human Starfleet stood firm, forming the last line of defense. Every human ship, every crew member, every weapon counted. They knew this battle would decide the fate of countless worlds. Admiral Hale's voice echoed through the flagship, "All hands, brace for final engagement. This is not just our fight. It is the galaxy's fight. And we will not fail." The human fleet surged forward. Cannons fired in perfect rhythm. Energy shields shimmered as the swarm lashed out, but the humans held their ground. Every strike, every maneuver, had been planned. Every sacrifice had meaning. Then came the unthinkable. Hale ordered a maneuver so risky that many of the Council's admirals gasped. The humans would drive a massive energy pulse directly into the swarm's core, a concentrated attack no other species could attempt. If it failed, it could destroy half the fleet. If it worked, it could end the swarm. "Now," Hale commanded. Ships aligned. Weapons glowed. Energy converged into a brilliant, blinding beam. The swarm writhed, screaming with dark energy, its massive body twisting violently. For a tense moment, nothing happened. Then, the pulse struck true. The darkness exploded, shattering into fragments. Pieces of the swarm disintegrated into nothingness. The void trembled. Stars, once threatened, shone safely again. Silence fell over the battlefield. Smoke and debris floated in space, but the humans survived. The Council fleets, inspired, moved in to finish the remnants. The galaxy had won. On the bridge of the Resolute Dawn, Hale allowed himself a small, tired smile. "It's over," he said quietly. But even in his relief, he knew the universe had changed. Humanity had returned, not just to survive, but to lead, to inspire, to remind the galaxy that courage and unity could face even the darkest threat. Across the galaxy, ships and worlds erupted in relief. For the first time in generations, the Council realized that humans were more than legends. They were the spark of hope. Hale addressed the galaxy over long-range communication. "The void swarm is defeated, for now. But remember this, when the galaxy stands together, nothing is impossible. Humanity has returned, not to conquer, but to protect. Let this be the beginning of a new era." And so, the unthinkable had unfolded. Humans, once thought lost to time, had returned. They had faced annihilation, and they had triumphed. The galaxy watched in awe as the stars seemed brighter, the future wider, and hope unbreakable. The human Starfleet had arrived. And nothing would ever be the same again. Weeks had passed since the final battle. The void swarm had been shattered, its black clouds drifting into empty space. The galaxy was bruised but alive. Planets once threatened were rebuilding. The Council, once divided and fearful, now worked together under a fragile but growing trust. Admiral Mason Hale stood on the bridge of the Resolute Dawn, watching as repair ships moved across the fleet. Many of his ships were damaged, some barely holding together. Crew members were tired, grieving, yet proud. Humanity had survived. Humanity had led. A young human officer approached, holding a small data pad. "Admiral, Council representatives want to meet. They're drafting proposals for a united fleet, something permanent. They want humans at the center." Hale nodded slowly, a shadow of a smile on his face. "We will help. But remember, we didn't come back to rule. We came back to protect. That must always remain our purpose." Across the galaxy, species that once feared or even hated humans now looked at them with new eyes. In the council chambers, ambassadors spoke not of suspicion, but of cooperation. Stories of human bravery and sacrifice had spread quickly, and even the most stubborn leaders could not ignore it. Meanwhile, on distant worlds, humans who had long been scattered and hidden celebrated quietly. Children learned the stories of the Void Swarm, of battles fought among stars, of a species that refused to die. For the first time in 1,000 years, humanity had a place in the galaxy again. Yet, Hale knew the truth. The Void Swarm had been only one of countless threats in the universe. Out there, in the dark between stars, other dangers waited. Humanity had returned, but the galaxy's safety was not guaranteed. Every species would need to be vigilant, united, and ready for the unthinkable. Hale looked out at the stars, their light steady and bright. "We survived because we did not fight alone," he said quietly. "And together, we can face anything." The human Starfleet had arrived. It had faced extinction, darkness, and fear. And now, it stood as a guardian for the galaxy. A new era had begun. One filled with hope, challenges, and infinite possibilities. Humanity was no longer a forgotten legend. Humanity was the spark that would light the stars. The galaxy watched, listened, and remembered. And in that silence, a promise echoed across space: the humans were here to stay.